Yeah, da da da. And let's make sure the sound is on. Should all be working. He says, should all be working. Ah, Paul. We didn't do Yonai into the early hours. Hello. I'm down here, my friend. We didn't do Yonai into the early hours. We weren't quite that nuts. It was tempting, but we didn't. We only did it to about, I don't know, 1 AM. But, yeah, I had fun. Now, I have said I've been a bit late because of two things. One, I actually started this at 2 o'clock and found I hadn't deleted enough submarines. I had literally... My fleet has shrunk from 1,000 submarines to 339 submarines, and it's about now happy with me. The fleet itself, I'm probably going to have to drop off some destroyers. Some of the older ships. But I still have 1,000 ships, so I'm not too worried. You were reading the Japanese articles online until 5:30. That doesn't surprise me, but that's also none of the battleships destroyers. Yeah, it's interesting. The stuff he gets up to and the stuff he gets involved in, he is very, very connected. Hello, Dan. How are you doing? All these light cruisers coming through. We'll see what happens when they come into service. Normal. Mothball. Swift. Swallows. Essexes. Gyarados. It is your first time on Twitch Live. I should make sure you are the right rank. I'd better make sure he's the right rank, hadn't I, everyone? I'd better make sure he's the right rank, hadn't I, everyone? Because, you know, that would be terrible if Dan wasn't the right rank. It would be a terrible, terrible thing if Dan... Terrible, terrible thing if Dan was not the right rank. Dan, you have been modded. Feel the power. You are now modded on Twitch as well as YouTube. It works. It does work. Although I am now wondering what I've done, but, you know. We will see. We will see. Scrap. I am not going to mothball every ship. Besides, that won't fix my financial problem. Only a war will fix my financial problem. And if my mothball ships, I don't actually reduce enough in power for people to feel like fighting me. Whereas if I've got my ships down below 1,000, I've got rid of literally 661 submarines. You know, I've got 50-something cruisers building. My spare personnel... Well, I'm not sure how many of those I have, but I'm fairly sure I have quite a lot. Ah, crew pool. 52,000. So, yeah, I've got quite an expensive crew pool ready to go. I've basically scrapped more ships than everyone else other than America has in this turn so far. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Wayne. Hello, everyone who's in today. We've got a couple of people watching Spike as well. We've got lots of people here today. How are you all doing today? Ferrero Rocher chocolate. Now the question is, I'm fairly sure I've got a toasted cheese sandwich heading my way. Should I eat this now, or should I wait for the sandwich to arrive and have the dessert? Or should I just have a few of these now? This is Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, Dan Freeman. This is the campaign version, and today is the last version of this game. I'm having some of this first. Good luck with the A1, Leslie. Good luck. I'm still not sure what's costing me so much more on the finance scale. Marks is nothing. Shipyard development, fleet maintenance, ammunition, fuel, total expenses 61, monthly naval budget 37. Shipyard development is nil poil, frankly. Read on shipyard development being a pain. Some of my submarines actually have names. That's interesting. This is obviously the new update. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've got a high enough rating on Twitch yet that members of my channel, or whatever they are, don't get how to see ads. I'm not sure how that works still. Basically, I've got to spend a lot of time chatting this through with Gareth. I really have. Yeah, I know. Me, the person who puts in the bare minimum of ads so the algorithm can work. Please let me do a group selection, please. I thought I'd got rid of it. Oh God, wait for come. I still have... It's still overloaded submarine-wise. It is still overloaded submarine-wise. Thank you, Dan. That's very kind of you. I'd like a submarine called Sharpshooter. I think that's a good name for a submarine. It is a good name for a submarine, Sharpshooter. It is. I'm guessing these are all now committed. There's not... I don't think King Edward VII... Maybe. Faulkner? That's okay. Rob Roy? I don't know. Andromeda feels more like a cruiser name than a submarine, but I'll take it. Royal Sovereign again. Definitely far more of a battleship name than a submarine name. Tirade, that's a submarine name. Carisfoot will do as a submarine name, although usually a destroyer. Forrester we'll go with, but that's a bit weird. Swift was a destroyer earlier on in this video. Have they repeated the same names over and over again? Multiple of these submarines have the same name. Okay. Yay, the controls button's working. I can select multiple submarines. And I can do... Oh, for goodness sake. To date, so far, basically, I am now the strongest, most ultimate power in the world. I did have 2,000 ships, including over 1,000, nearly 1,100 submarines. For the game to work, because I've been kind of overloading it, I've had to actually get rid of submarine. And mothballing, yeah. It's what happens when you put ships into long-term reserve. Why are they mothballed? Because they're brand new and they decided there wasn't enough crew to go around, I'm presuming. That's what they usually do. In mothball ships, if you build a new ship and you don't have enough crew for it, they mothball it. It's how they work it. And you go, no, I'd really quite like the ship, please. I'll take an older ship being mothballed, please. No, we'll mothball your brand new ship, because that's really what you do. But there again, I suppose it stops them rambling, mothballing ships in the middle of your... I'm trying to do submarines, and it's again gone back to the fleet. It really... the submarines are a new addition in versions, and I think the system's still getting used to doing them. Let's put it this way. When you hear that the Royal Australian Navy has developed a spider-deploying torpedo, that is when you will suddenly see most of the other navies in the world decide they no longer want to be navies and identify as space assets. Why do you all not want to play anymore? No, we're now a spaceship. Why? Because we don't think insects can live in space. It's too cold. Oh, good. How many did they frigging mothball? All 100. And also, look at how many Andromedas there are. And there's a Rodney. That's just no fair. A Rodney is a submarine, and there's multiple sharpshooters. Malaya, Christopher, Euryalus, Matchless. Christopher, HMS Christopher is not one I remember. That is the sort of name I'd remember, mainly because we get nicknamed Robbins. Don't be more like pennies than pounds. Yeah, look, I am the first to admit, but I will say this. I get a check from Twitch, I think it's almost every other month, for about enough money that I can buy a book. I'm never going to complain about that. You know my view on books. If I can buy more history books, I'm a happy man. Food is a bonus in life. Sleep is occasional necessity. Books are the essential things. Yes, Starship Troopers in yesterday's habitual line crosser was an excellent reference. Actually, moths usually aren't as much of a problem as you'd think. They use virulent insecticides when they are mothballing ships. And I mean virulent insecticides. And B, let's put it this way, most of the useful stuff of the ship when it's mothballed is ripped out. That includes things like upholstery. Please say hi everyone to my delivery person of my sandwich. Thank you, sister. Why are you nicking my keys? Oh, goodness gracious me. What I love is, she's nicking my keys to get in the office. She can't get my keys out of my padlock. So, she's taken the padlock with her. And then she expects me to be able to believe that she can actually open her office door. If she can't get my keys out of my padlock, how can she use my keys to get into her padlock? Oh, let's be honest, but we all know. That's always the thing which is my biggest objection to Warhammer 40k. You know, it has the F4132, is it F432? It has that, but it doesn't have a buff. I mean, seriously, the Emperor's Army's gonna have a buff. Either that, or the buff have become sentient, and it's the remaining buffs which are the AIs in all the Mechanicums for massive starships. I look forward to it, Dan Freeman. I have lost naval funds fast. I'm not sure how. Maybe because I'm not fighting a war at the moment. Gentlemen, or a buff with warp nest cells escorting the Enterprise F to dry dock. Look, the other problem with Discovery was that they weren't greeted by a buff with warp nest cells going, "You've arrived here? Hello." Okay. I now have a massive fleet of submarines. So how's everyone doing with their Sunday? How does their Sunday go? How am I going to fix this budget problem? I need a war. That's it, basically. I need a war. Japan's the best chance of one. I have gas turbines, but they work on. So working on that. Advanced bulkhead retention shells, what they're working on. Advanced naval shells, torpedo size, improved torpedoes. Maneuver warfare is working on what? Navy reform research. Thank you. Thank you, sis. I managed to finish it quickly enough. It's far more efficient this way. I'm a good brother. Well, you can try and wage war with the Ko-fi bot, but I think the Ko-fi bot will win. Basically, it's advertising ways people can fund the stream. Or rather, my book addiction. Because as I said, I do all these streams for my book addiction. All this work is for my book addiction. Mild Iron Brew addiction, massive book addiction. So, I will say this, UAD gets very buggy at certain points in the gameplay still, in the campaign. I'm going to wait till these ships are built before I start mucking around with procuring more ships. Mainly because I want to see what my finances are like once I've finished building cruisers. Not sure what happened there. More habit and tradition and everything else. Yeah, that's what you're blaming on. Habit and tradition. That's 4 months till they're finished. I'm not sure if my bank account can survive 4 months of finishing up the cruiser program. I'm still not sure why my finances are quite so bad, but hopefully I can have a war with Japan before then. HMS Gary? Portia? A tradition I was denied. You know, that's because by that point Seneca is also an admin, so you have to be a super admin like either Dan or Melanie to be able to do that. I haven't appointed a third super admin yet. I'm deciding. Be wise, choose Leslie. Do we think Leslie got any sleep last night? Well, currently he's driving on the A1, so I hope he got some. But how much he'd have got would have been... John Moon, only non-modern chant shiver. 4.5 hours, yeah. Basically, I am being like the worst version of military entirely, and I am absolutely pursuing a war to preserve my budget. But that's because in this game, unless you have a war, it seems the Navy budget is obscene. It doesn't work. No matter what, they leave the things at the same percentage as. No matter how much a surplus you are running during wartime, with the wartime funding, and I was running a huge surplus. And when war's over, I'm cut to the point at which my income is apparently cut to the point at which I go bankrupt. Now building 6 ships, none of which are for me. And yet I'm still at negative 16 billion a month. Oh, I've got the finances. If you go look at my finances, that's maxed out. Crew training's maxed out. Tech budget's maxed out. As that's a fixed expense, so that's not something I'm going to worry about. And besides, getting to build up to 530,000 ton ships is lovely. Although again, there's no relation between shipyard size, maximum shipyard size, and shipbuilding capacity. Because if you believe that, if you look at that figure, my shipbuilding capacity is less than 3 shipyards. So you're telling me, in the British Empire, of which I'm running, which has quite literally, and this is the other thing I find strange, so I have 215 provinces controlled around the world. Out of, well, let's be honest, there's 215 I control. There is 7 which Japan controls. There's 1 Germany controls, so that's 223. And America controls 15. So that's 238. And yet they're telling me that America's GDP is greater than mine. Okay. Maybe you can accept that. But also, you know, they're sitting there, I think they are seriously underestimating just how large this economy would be. Honestly, I can probably afford to cut the tech budget, let's be honest. That takes it down. That takes it. If I cut the tech budget to 0, that takes it down a long way. And that gives me 3 months more. Yeah, I'm basically stuck in peace. It's an annoying way to end a series. But I have the feeling that's what's going to happen. I have the feeling today I will do the 2 hours, and this will be the end of this series, and I will have had no battles. Also, I'm not sure how I went through 50,000 crews so quickly. Veet Cream and Mackie D's. I'm glad Mackie D's is there. I'm not surprised with me, Mackie D's is there, because let's be honest, that is what you see most often when I'm eating a takeaway on stream, because something's happened. It could be the lots of major updates they've made since you started. It has had an interesting impact. So are we saying that the adverts are being structured to the individual through Twitch? You got defense to the requirement and assorted tech stuff. UAD is fun. My laptop can cope with it, but I will say this: it is very intensive on the machine. Once you get, especially to the later game stages where you have a lot of things, a lot of how to put this, a lot of stuff going on, it uses up a lot of memory. Ah, yes. You don't get ads because you sub to one Twitch tier. Woo! Well, That's an interesting thing. Let them do that. Let's see, politics. Which one's closest to a war? Oh yeah, increased tension. Japan, we're doing this. Can I get a war so I can get some development funds? Again. And here's the thing. So, the UK GDP, minus the army budget, is 9 trillion. My naval budget is 40 billion. And yet I am supposed to be in 1945. I think it's 1945. It might not be 1945. Wherever I am, supposed to be running a 8, nearly 9 billion deficit. And I've not got a massive fleet. I've got 74 battleships, yes. I've got 23 battle cruisers, yes. 30 cruisers. But, you know, that's not a lot of ships, really, realistically. I think I'm going to get rid of some of my older battleships. Mainly because I think I can get rid of about a dozen of those and it's not too problematic for me. Anything which is in harbour from the fleet, which is an older battleship, I'll do. Should allow me to get the new cruisers into service. They're all in. They're in Bangkok. Well, those I will get rid of. And those I will mothball. They're in the Bay of Bengal. So I mothball them. Danzig and Madras. That should help me with some of my issues. Renown class. Hang on. Bangkok and Madras. That's an original Agincourt class. I didn't think I had any of those left. Messina, Taranto, Messina. No, actually. I'm scrapping you. Let's go check the finances out, see if that's in cost per month. 78 million for some of these ships to do. Some of them are all renowns. America has 50 battleships. I have 61. I have more battleships than everyone else in the world combined. The upkeep cost of a ship per turn. So that's 2 billion a turn for those battleships. I need them out at sea. Toronto. Sheesh. So mothball ships actually cost more money? Oh no, they cost less. They cost 8 million a turn if they're mothballed. $156 million a turn if they're not. Oh, they're not that expensive. 26 million. Seriously, some of these things cost... How much are they paying the people in this time? Do they not know how cheap they are? I seriously don't think they do. I seriously don't think they realise how cheap the people are in this period. So what's my cheapest ship at sea? Argonaut, 271,000 a year. I'm not building anything at the moment. It's entirely maintaining my fleet that's costing me the money. It's the ships. And it's the big ships especially. Is that the story of how Britain changed from constitutional monarchy to democracy? It was the unions of the Navy's unions demanding more pay. Explain why it went union rather than democracy. Okay. Also, the fact I can't declare war really annoys me. I can increase tension, but I cannot declare war. I can have a cause specie, but I cannot get declare war. That's just annoying. Gives you some of the realistic frustrations of being a naval officer in charge. I'm just going to mothball pretty much every ship in the Adriatic and Ionian Sea. Because I can. Arabian Sea, I'm going to do as well. Every ship that's not at sea in the Arabian. Is going to be mothballed. I can't mothball the Baltic fleet because I'm just about to use those on the Germans once they are fully committed to war. So Baltic, definitely not. Bay of Bengal... Yeah, we'll mothball everything apart from... the battleships. Bay of Biscay is interesting. Could mothball quite a bit of stuff there. As to with the Bering Sea. Yeah, I think you should be able to declare war on a minor faction. There are, and let's be honest, you could pretty much do that, you know. In naval terms, you can just, as First Sea Lord, take your ships so frigging close that they have to declare war on you. Basically pushed into a black hole where they can't get out. Hello, Guardsman 14. I'm currently wrestling with my budget. Let's go to submarines and get rid of some of the older submarines. I've had to take my text budget down to 0. Now getting rid of summaries from 1929. They're not even 20 plus years old yet. They probably are, actually. Considering it's 1946. No, they're not 20 years old yet. They're 27 years old. And are they? 29? No, they're not even 20 years old yet. Oh, you know. The nod mods sticking together, really. In the face of overwhelming mod power. There are like 9 people watching, of which in the chat there's probably about 7. And 5 of those are mods. Yes, the mods do have overwhelming power, but they like having overwhelming power. That's the methodology. Hey Dan, did you watch Gareth streams earlier? To be honest, Runon, we fear you mostly because you have the ability to deal with electrics on a level which scares most humans. So you don't really need to add on to that fear coffee and HRT. You have enough that's already scary without even adding those in to the equation. Adding those into the equation just adds to the general fear. Oh, it was a good one. I didn't manage to get a comment in it, but it was good. Good luck, Jonathan. Good luck, Jonathan. Just remember that when Leslie turns up, because as we all know, Leslie is really someone you want to challenge to a fight. Leslie is pure someone you wish to challenge to a fight. In every way, shape, and form. And the shift button's working. Woohoo! That's always nice to have. I think it's in the Southwestern Pacific, or Southwest Americas, or something like that. Southwest America, yeah. Let's see how the finances are going. Aaron, you're good. Your answer about worker is refreshing to someone who's retired from all that. Yeah. Aaron, listen, at least I'm not an MV or HV election. I take one look at anything above 480 and do an about face saying, nope, thanks, I choose life. Yeah. I have been known to say similar things. I would like a new Rome Total War, where it takes back some of the gameplay you had in the original. You know, I think they tried to make the gameplay almost too advanced. I liked having multiple cities and you not having the whole regional thing. It was better to have the individual cities. It was less of a pain to deal with, and less of a spent time managing what the frick some idiot was up to. It got turned too much into a city management game, I think I was felt at that point. Oh, I can use the shift button. That's helpful. Yeah. Look, in nice way, Jonathan, this is the thing. The question should be asked is when selecting mods for my YouTube channel, my Discord, and my Twitch, and choosing the same people to be mods on all three, so that it's a universal mod system. I.e., there is not a scenario of one being a mod in one and one not being, and one being a mod in the other, and them able to have imbalance of power. So it's a mod team. Seemed more professional that way. Was I selecting for the people who are most capable of doing the job, or was I selecting for the people who'd be most feared doing the job? And are those two things necessarily mutually exclusive? And some of them I didn't even wait for volunteers. I voluntold them they were mods. Dan, you are the most balanced, high-performing medical doctor I know. Steve, you may have been selected for a myriad of capabilities, including the fact that I feel like Sir Humphrey, you would have the ability to bamboozle someone with words so well they wouldn't even know which way was up, let alone which way they were falling down. Paul, yes, you might have been selected because the calm man in a group of very, very less than calm people is often the scariest, and reasoned judgment is your main asset and main capability. You are very good at the quiet word management system. I have noticed that in the chat. Oh, good. I'm now back in positive money. Woohoo. Politics. Let's see how bad we can make some the relationships with Germany and Japan go. Can I have a war before this game ends? Can I have a war before this? I think this is the last of this video of this particular one. Because I think we have now reached the end of July. Dan, you have way too much fun with this, but I might well be using some of these in my stream later. I might well be using some of them in my stream later. Ay, caramba. Will the chieftain fit into a BV-202? Having done quite a nice long chat with him about the run-up to D-Day, that would be an interesting thing to see. Would be an interesting thing to see. So finders are back in the positive, which is where I like them to be. We have a war coming. There's literally nothing I can do more than I'm doing to increase attentions. My fleet, I can't order anything in my fleet because I haven't got the money at the moment because the budget's been cut to beyond belief. Yeah. Admittedly, it is normal to have a lot of ships mothballed and have them in ordinary. So, yeah, that makes sense. And I think I've got enough ships activated to wipe out the German Navy 3 times over. I just carry this on and see what happens. What's going to happen? I think brew ships this evening will be probably more book packing, but hopefully by that time I'll have sorted out these boxes so I can pack some books. And pack some bottles. How's Unrest doing? Unrest is at 15.6. No prestige is always nice up, right? That would be useful for more funds. That'd be useful for a war with Japan. Let's see what happens. Monthly now balance is now back up to $1 billion plus a month. Gaining. That's good. Starting to get back up to where it needs to be. Woohoo! I'm selling off a few old ships, which is good, and a few fairly new ships. I don't think that's bragging, but I think that's similar for a lot of people. Oh. How is it America can declare war on people when they want to, including minor powers, and I can't? I want to be able to beat up minor powers. You know, you're all reflective of who you're trained by. think I might bring back the whole carrying a walking cane thing for our future trips for the shipshape crew. Because I think it could be fun to have a walking stick with me. How many H's for done? There's someone to say repeatedly making sloppy mistakes. You don't you don't repeatedly make sloppy mistakes. Politics. Increased tension with Japan. Okay. We should all be very afraid. My mother has now found the entire subsect of VTubers known as the doggy VTubers, or as she's calling them, i.e. the ones which have their characters inspired by dogs. So this is now combined not just my mum's love of dogs, but my mum's love of VTubers now. This could be worrying and scary for all of us. Please pray for a poodle and a corgi. That she's trying to find the corgi VTuber and the poodle VTuber. Please be afraid. Please join me in feeling both afraid and, well, oh good lord. Look, she's at. Look, my mum has, as we all know, an army which is her Space Marine army is entirely the Blood Angels, and is all made around Dante because Dante is her stan. She prefers Dante to Sanguinius. She just considers him a greater hero. We'll leave that to one side, but she is also considering doing her own custom Sisters of Battle, which are going to be based on VTubers. And now she's found the doggy VTubers. I think they might be the Sisters of Battle, who somehow have been exposed to the Fenrisian curse and are still carrying on as Sisters of Battle. I don't know how she's planning on doing it, but she's talking all sorts of things, including that I should really save up and buy a 3D printer so she can make sure she gets the army just right. Okay? So can you all please pray for me, because I could end up having to build a Fenrisian VTubing inspired Sisters of Battle. Well, she doesn't have a 3D printer at the moment, and she feels it would be better if I got one, and then I could run it off my computer, because her computer's a laptop, and it really wouldn't be fair to do it off that. Also, I'm trying to think what VTuber inspired Sisters of Battle. What would be the lore between VTuber, Doggy VTuber inspired Sisters of Battle be? And is she going to have a really small one which is called Rin Penrose? Which started all this joy. Do you really want... I don't want to know. I do... well, seeing as I'll probably have to create... Well... Okay. I have to admit, my Iron Wolves are going to have some very interesting versions of the Fenrisian wolf. They may or may not be poodle inspired, their wolf section. There might be some poodle ones, and there might be some corgi ones inspired going in and designing. Because luckily, I've got one of a far better painter than me is going to paint them. So I've done the come up with the design, but the painter's going to paint them. But mine are basically just regular models adapted and with slightly different paint. My mum is planning. Oh, God, she was talking about this yesterday, and it's just listening to it is just scaring the life out of me. Look. If I have to know now what... yeah, who were the two that Mum has found that's really driven... well, yes, the first doggy one she found were Fuamoko, who are twin sisters, like my mother and aunt, and who apparently are demon dogs. And this is the thing. This led to my mum introducing my aunt to it. And so, their plan for the chapters of the battles is that one is going to be Poodle and Corgi themed, and one is going to be West Highland Terrier themed. Because that's what my aunt has. And my aunt's going to have a group as well of them, of these Sisters of Battle, who've all become Fenrisian inspired. I just... It could lead to some very interesting Imperial versus Imperial matches. But it can also lead to them gagging up with my Iron Wolves on pretty much anyone else who decides to cause trouble. No, no. Because they're considering adding to the bet against the channel that the other one has to buy some as part of the thing is now they're adding purchasing some new models for their new inspired Sisters of Battle orders. They both want what's the big Sisters of Battle tank? Isn't it? It's an organ thing. They want that. They want that, and basically the winner's going to have to buy the loser's going to have to buy the winner that, and buy one for their own army. So each one has to buy two. People are now getting their codex. Thank you, please do, because I should really know what is riding on this thing. Well, I should. It's only fair, I know. It's an exit. It's a 55 quid order. Yeah, look. As said, these are friendly bets between my mother and her sister, her twin sister. It's a friendly battle, but oh good lord. This year, maybe I will start videoing some of the actual family battles. I was once invited. I only ever once invited a friend to come play with us at the battle. It's when they got out their army, and were very proud of their army. It was a full-size regulation army. And I went, I did tell you this is a non-regulation battle, right? Yeah? Okay. The smallest armies involved in the big matches we do in the barn of one of the family farms is about 3 times the size the smallest army any of my family members brings. And there are literally dozens of armies brought. As you'd expect from a family where in my generation of cousins, I'm the only boy in 40. It's not exactly a small group that turns up. And whilst not everyone has an army, quite a lot of them do. They're sort of going, do you just want to fight as an adjunct to my army? Yes, please! That's probably sensible. Ronald, someone sold off their entire 30k Marines army to my local store last week. If any of the tanks are there next week, I might pick one up. I would do. Picking up second hand is far easier. I now control 216 provinces. I'm now on plus 5 billion. The economy is doing a lot better. But I don't think I'm going to get that war, am I? I've staunched the economic bleed. I'm doing fine, but I don't think I'm going to have a natural naval battle before this is over. And that's sad, because, as I've said, this is the last of this series. Of this particular campaign, because this campaign will last on YouTube videos till the 29th of July. So basically my plan is in next when we get to next Sunday on the 26th of May, I'm starting a new series, a new series. And the reason I'm going to start a new series is because I just think it's sensible to start off again and see what the how the updates have changed the gameplay in the early game, because I'm quite far advanced to the point at which I no longer have to worry about anyone. And this time I might play as America, just to see if I can use the American-inspired Navy to do anything interesting. Maybe I can. I have achieved peace in my time, but this is the thing is, I've achieved peace in my time through overwhelming naval firepower. I am just so massive that no one really wants to fight me. And even with all the ships I've got mothballed, I've still got an active fleet of 834 ships. It also, I'd say, the more I do this sort of game and I do this sort of thing, I sit there and go, oh, frigate, the treaties really did get it wrong, didn't they? You can imagine if they judged the naval treaties just enough that they'd broken Japan economically trying to keep up their position. And Germany and Italy would have been so far behind. Because let's put it this way. If you, instead of having 15, let's say, capital ships for the British and the Americans, you, let's say, set the British and Americans at 25 each. Or maybe even 30 each. Let's say they set them at 30 each. And they give Japan their 7-10 ratio, so they get 21 ships. They'd have to build up to 21 ships. And you match that with carrier construction. You say Britain and America are allowed 20 carriers each. Japan's allowed 14. Maybe you go 30 carriers each, and Japan's still allowed 21 carriers. Okay, so they're allowed 21 carriers and 21 capital ships and equivalent tonnage. And then you go to France and Italy, and you go, okay, you're allowed for every traditionally. What we said was you were allowed 2.2 to our 5. We're going to be nice. We're going to allow you to have let's say 4.5 for our 4.5 for our 10. So they can end up with 13.5 ships in total tonnage for capital ships, etc. Italy will go bankrupt trying to pursue that. You know Mussolini will do that. And the same with Japan. And by the time Hitler rolls around and is in power, he's got no allies left, and he's looking down some very big guns. Because the thing is, the British and the Americans, they can slow walk to 21 because they already have to 30 because they already have those ships, especially the British. They should already have that capital ships. My friend makes a joke about Dr. Clark doing another treaties video, although that might break Knight with battleship ideas, so I'm not sure that's... Honestly, I've broken Knight in so many ways when it comes to the battleship ideas. I do feel guilty sometimes. I think I've overloaded him a little bit. That's why I'm always so happy to answer his questions. I'm always sort of happy to answer his questions, because I realise in a way the alternate histories that we've done on my channel through the Patreon suggested and topics have broken him just a little bit when it comes to the sheer number of possibilities. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Yeah, that's the thing is, though, isn't that the old saying, the path to hell is paved with good intentions? And it's that with the treaties. The idea was to make war impossible, and actually what they did was they made war more likely. Because the thing is, the treaties only work as long as people abide by them. And if you get to the point of this, Laws don't tend to stop bad people. If we talk about the scenario that often comes up with weaponry, okay, laws don't stop bad people getting weapons if they want them. They will find a way. Treaties don't stop bad people arming up. They will find a way. What they can do is limit good people. Now, the thing is, if you're like Britain and you run a closed loop system in terms of importing weapons, you can restrict the flow of weapons into your country so much that, and you can raise the risk of what happens if you use those weapons to such a high level that the risk versus reward of using those weapons doesn't make sense to to anyone who's actually semi-professional as a criminal. Basically, the only people who are going to go for that are going to be the people who already would have gone for that whatever because they are, let's put it this way, less than psychologically balanced and inclined that way. And that's another reason why I have to say I don't support arming the British police force, because it can be seen then as becoming a necessity for the criminals, whereas with most of the police not armed, they don't feel the need to carry that weapon. What they seem to forget, though, is the police are armed with tasers, batons, and body armour, so frankly, they already have other advantages. And if you do produce a weapon superior to that needed, they can call up people who are very proficient in those, and if those people aren't enough, then they can call up people who are even more proficient in that weaponry. But when you're dealing with a system like America, the sheer size of it, then you have a bit of a problem. Let's get the BCs. BCs back to use. Hello, Bishop Stars. Yeah. But China has other things they've implemented which just wouldn't work in America because you'd have to be implementing them from scratch. China has a far stronger state control in so many ways that I don't want to get into discussions with, but basically with the wouldn't mesh with the American culture. And I don't know if it necessarily always meshes with the Chinese culture, but they're able to implement it because they are a one-party state. And they still have problems. But you know, Britain has the advantage. So that the point I'm trying to make is, the treaty systems are basically what Britain does, but without the escalation of violence if you break them, that Britain introduced, and the closed system, which allows them to actually properly implement it. The world is not a closed system. The treaty system was not a closed system. There were lots of powers outside of the treaty system. Yes, the quirk of the British law enforcement. The army is in the cop's toolbox. Yes, if you raise the threat to sufficiently level that the armed police can't deal with you, the next people who come along are highly specialist in making sure the opponent doesn't survive. And as Dan's pointing out, the real restriction in the UK is ammunition, not fire controls. Yeah, firearms. Yes, that's the thing. And honestly, I do sometimes wonder if that's the quirk which the American government, American politicians just keep overlooking. That if there was far more controls over access to ammunition, they might be more successful. But we'll leave that to one side, because as Spike's pointing out, the US problem also includes quite a significant culture. They have quite a heavily advanced gun culture. And one of the interesting questions I've had with someone is, why didn't that happen in the UK? And I went, well, because by the time gun culture became a culture, the thing was that Britain doesn't have the same hunting history in some regards as America, because by the time we got into the modern era where there's a lot of hunting, again because we're an island, we killed off all the big natural predators, and we sort of went through our hunting period with bows. And by the time we're out of the bow era, let's be honest, whilst there are people who are poaching, hunting, etc., they're mostly going after birds, etc. And you don't want more than a shotgun for that. It does work, sadly. Well, probably. But that's the scenario. Whereas if you because of that background, then you look at the treaties and you go, well, hang on, you're trying to introduce almost a British-style system around guns on the world, and you're not a world government, and that doesn't work. And that was the problem with the treaties from the get-go. That was the reason why the treaties were always doomed to fail, because they could only control what their members did as long as they were members, and as long as they signed up to it. Yeah, there are lots of shotguns and plenty of shotgun ammunition. I honestly prefer the EU-UK system of regulating the pressure-bearing components. Makes more sense and is more clear-cut than the frame or receiver language years. Yeah. Is body armor allowed? Yeah, in the UK you can buy body armor. But there's not for some reason there's not a massive market for it, so there's not a lot of sales of it. But you can buy it from stores. And honestly, the best places to go to are usually army surplus stores in the UK. There are a few of them. And they usually have other things as well there. One of the things I find fun is there's actually an HM supply store, if I remember correctly, in Aldershot, which literally does supply stuff for the basically armed forces. But there's a few others around that you can go and find stuff. There's a very good store I know in Cornwall, in Camborne, which has all sorts of stuff in it, if you want to go grab it. But yeah, that's the thing. If you want it, you can find it in the UK, but it's quite heavily. It's sort of to an extent of. I'd say the bigger thing in the UK that they're always dealing with is people don't really want it. Yes, you can own your own tank and only need a shotgun license for it. Yeah, stab vests are more a common thing, and even stab vests. To be honest, look, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I've literally walked through London at 1 a.m. in the morning from where was I? Stratford and I literally walked it because I couldn't be bothered to try and get on the tube to where I was staying back in. Oh, in not Waterloo or Embankment, it's the one beyond Waterloo. Oh, what is it? I walked all the way back to Vauxhall. Yeah, all the way to Vauxhall from Stratford. And I was fine. At 1 a.m. in the morning, quite happily. I have, less recently that, have walked all the way around from, I think it was from, where was it? One north of Islington, from Finsbury Park to Vauxhall. I've done that walk. Again, in very late at night, because I needed to, because I was doing something up in London. And I thought it's been fine. I've walked through several of the worst areas of Leicester and Nottingham at night when I went on back from home, and it's not that bad. Yeah. And I think the larger problem for the US is that we have none of the social systems that lowers the need for criminal acts. No. I'm down to 50 battleships. I don't like being under 50 battleships. We're coming to get an old Abbott self-propelled artillery piece. I like CVRTs. I would like to have my own little Scorpion. I think once I go to Cornwall, I think we might have space that I can have my own Scorpion or Scimitar. If I can get hold of one, currently they're being snapped up by Ukraine. I think I'm going to design a new generation of heavy cruisers because these are all very old and I need a new generation of heavy cruiser anyway. So I'm probably going to go to my lovely, lovely idea of small battle cruisers again. As long as battleships include one called Warspite, all is good. Yeah. I guess. I'm not sure where my one called Warspite is. Sorting out the US and US Victor. Yes, there are many issues when it comes to... There again, though, if I was a rancher, I would again also be buying a CBRT, because I think having a small tank would be the ultimate weapon in home defense. It would also mean that before anyone wanted to turn up, they would need to bring serious heavy weaponry to me. Right. Yeah, the Invident, Hatred's Verdun. Today I learnt that Britain built nearly a third of all the dreadnought battleships in the world, even with World War II. That's some going in 10 years, most of them got built. Yes, this is my point about any time everyone says that that Germany could have won the Anglo-German naval race. Really? Britain built a third, and it still doing all that effort, and still had shipyards which could build dreadnoughts going bankrupt because they weren't getting enough orders. Imagine what they'd have done if they'd stretched themselves. Good luck, fella. There will be a brew ships. It will be a box packing and answering questions. And I'm going to do this for another 8 minutes to see if the war actually starts, and then I'm just going to end it. I'm going to go get a pizza for dinner. Or rather, for lunch and dinner. Which, considering I've already had a toasted cheese sandwich, it means I'm going to have a lot of cheese today, but that's going to be my food today. Because I've got pizza in the house. A lot of pizza in the house. Because I got pizza because someone was supposed to be coming and helping yesterday with all the stuff, and they didn't manage to make it, which is fine. That happens. But it means I have their pizza to eat. So I'm hungry now. Good luck, Jonathan. Family functions happen. You'll survive. You might not feel like it when you go to them, but you will survive. You will survive. They've built Annie and Monaghan. Americans are building ships. They really are. It's almost like they've structured the economy as if World War II's happened. And it hasn't happened in this timeline. And I have control of 216 frigating provinces. Quite literally, the moment the war starts, I can unleash Armageddon on anyone. You know, it's like I have 10 to 1 province. I have... Actually, no, more than that. I have 15-1 provinces advantages against the Americans, the next biggest. It's just absurd. The Americans are scrapping ships that I see, which is helpful for me. It truly is helpful for them to be scrapping ships. I think I need some heavy cruisers. Did you accidentally? I actually accidentally scared everyone into not going to war with me. I've been playing a war game for the last 2 sessions. No one's been at war with me because they're all too friggin' scared. Unless they declare war, I can't do anything to them. It's just not fair. I've been having fun designing ships, yes, but in the nicest way. Deterrent is very successful. It's just annoying. We want a battlecruiser. We want a battlecruiser. Because we want to build our new generation of heavy cruiser equivalents. So 9.2-inch guns. Do you have HMS Deterrence? I'm going to call it HMS Deterrence. This new battlecruiser. How I'm going to end this game so that we actually have something fun to think about as the end of this edition before we start the next series. Go to battle cruisers. Let's see what we can do with this. After weight, 5.4%. Okay, that's fine. If that's not going to work, then I'm going to do this. Let's see how powerful we can make this. Okay. Secondary tear. And let's go for... No, I don't like that. That just looks ugly. Don't like that. Too long. Work shorter. So now we put in the 6-inch guns. Right, first things first. Oh, we want those capped. We want them standard ratio. We want increased high explosive of them. We want super heavy. We want increased shells. We want them on auto. We want them all that. And we want them to plus 5 inches. And that should give me a range of 50 kilometers. That should do. Hello, Randall fan. So, the thing is, that's 40,000 tons, though. And I'm on maximum bulkheads. Yeah, that's 16,000 kilometers, then I'm fine. My roll and pitch are massive, though, and I need to realistically get those down. That should do. So I like that up to at least 12. That up to 18. That goes to 3. That goes to 6. So let's increase the draft. Now, we are about 1,000 tons over, but we need those secondaries of 6-inch guns, don't we? We do. Afterweight offset. Ooh, we can drop that down a bit. Ooh, that's starting to look good. That's starting to look very nice. Oh, what do we think of that? (20,000 kilometers range, many bulkheads rather than maximum, so not as anti-submarine survival as I tend to like, but we've still got a few hundred tons to play with, so I'm reckoning in terms of secondaries, I'm getting some 40mm. Down to 1.5 inch. Half weight is now 1. There we go. Full weight offset 0.1%. I'll do. That will do. That'll do indeed. I think deterrence is ready. So that's 45,000 tons. And this is what I'm going to build instead of heavy cruisers. Very efficient, very long-range ship. Crew requirements, 1251. 9 16.5-inch 52s. 4 twin 6-inch 46s. And 4 quad 40mm 51s. I still don't understand why no one's making war with me. It's not as if I have hundreds of these ships in service. Yeah, this is my 45,000 ton heavy cruiser. Look, when I found out the 9.2-inch guns, you saw me try out the 9.2-inch gun design. It looked puny. It looked like a bit lopped off. This has been merely building something with the capability to say hello to people. That's all it is. It's the ability to say hello. Do you want to be my friend? Lots of people want to be my friend. No one wants to play with me, though. Also, you got the 15-inch 50s in bulk. Yes, I got the 15. I got the 15-inch 50-somethings in bulk. I didn't stop at 50. I went further. Because honestly, let's see if 16 maxes out my construction for. I don't think it will, because I'm fairly sure 16 maxes in at 800,000 tons, and I think I've got a couple million tons to play with. I think there might have been 15-inch 56s, maybe even 15-inch 15-inch 56s. I could actually order some more of them. Because I only ordered 16. I think I could order another 8 without breaking the bank. Yes, firing the heavy AAP she's piercing shells, yes. I think I can build another 8 of them. I think I'm going to do that, because I think it's only fair, really. I need enough to be a proper force, and these are the smallest capital ships I'm building. So I'm only building a class of 24 of these battle cruisers. So again, I object to the people who suggest that I am, in some way, shape or form, overloading the game. But I will leave you with these 24 ships being ordered as the end of this game, because let's be honest, no one is starting a war with me. No one is starting a war with me. This is just cruel. Look, it'll mean I'll end up with a fleet of 64 battleships in service, 47 battle cruisers. Eventually I'll get rid of the heavy cruisers. 145, probably aiming for 200 light cruisers. About 400 destroyers and about 400 submarines in service. That's what I'd be aiming for at this point, as I feel that'd be enough to realistically make everyone understand the true situation of the world they're in. After all, can't everyone order 24 battle cruisers in a year? In one go? Sure, that's normal in this game. And I don't know, but I might not have still don't think I maxed out my tonnage. Yeah, I've still got nearly over 200,000 tons of shipbuilding capacity left. I could order another 4. I could take it up to 28. But that wouldn't give me 3 balanced squadrons of battle cruisers, so that I won't do that, because I like the 8s. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope to see you later on Brew Ships. I'll go put that timing up now. I'll probably schedule it for 7:30, so I can also announce the winners of the patron vote. I might well stick. I was thinking of just sticking them off the coast of Japan. I'll probably try and build them all, or have them all come into service in the Chinese ports. Sorry to hear that, Ranaldale fan. Hope you're okay with the too much Pepsi. Take care. Gandhi gonna build nuclear subs next month. Look, I used to love Gandhi as an opponent on Civilization. The fact that you had someone who would espouse peace one moment and then blast you to oblivion with nuclear weapons the next added a real frisson to the operations. And also meant having nuclear weapons had real need. But at the moment, India's under my control. Take care, everyone. Toodles, and see you later. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Bishops. Thank you, Randall fan. Thank you, Rinon. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Dan Freeman. Thank you, Spike. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everyone who's been on here this evening. Guardsman, Jonathan Moon. Everyone who's been chatting away, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure I said thank you, Rinon. If I didn't, thank you. Thank you, H's Verdun. Thank you. All the people who've been having fun chatting away. Thank you. Take care, and... well, yeah, this is the end of this series. Join me next week for the start of a new one, where we will be America, because frankly, at this point, I have achieved too much peace as Britain. I'm not giving you enough fun. There's no battles. There have been no battles both this week and last week, and that's just sad. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care, and have fun. Bye.